Here's what every NBA team should be asking for this Christmas. Now, with the NBA season ramping up, we're getting closer and closer to June in the NBA Finals. Some teams need to make additions to get there. Some teams may just want to be healthy. And some teams just want to tank for Cooper Flag. So in today's video, we're going over every single NBA team and what they should wish for this Christmas. And if you guys like this NBA content, make sure to subscribe for more. Let's get right into the video. Starting off with the Atlanta Hawks, they need to find a home for Clint Capella. Now, Clint Capella is definitely not part of their future with Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, and Dyson Daniels. So trade him to a place that he could actually win a championship and maybe get some picks in return. Next up for the Boston Celtics, they just need to wish for Kristaps Porzingis to be healthy throughout the NBA Finals. Now, it's not given that they're going to make the NBA Finals, but pretty much to be healthy the rest of the season. Because with a healthy Kristaps in this starting five, the Celtics look borderline unstoppable. Next up, the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this is a really weird one. I was going to say they're just hoping for an all-star prime Ben Simmons, but that's highly unlikely. So in my opinion, they need to trade their best player, Cam Johnson, for young players or first-round picks. Because if they can do that and add a nice player this offseason, they can finally turn around their franchise. Next up, the Charlotte Hornets. Now, besides wishing for maybe wins, I think they should go for losses. Now, LaMelo Ball is averaging 30-plus points per game. We understand. He's an absolute baller. But they are not winning anything with this roster, so if they continue to lose games and improve their draft pick, that would be the wish for the Charlotte Hornets. Moving on to the Chicago Bulls. Now, again, very weird core they have. So in my opinion, they need to get off Zach LaVine's contract and trade Nikola Vucevic while he's been playing amazing. This is the most value you're going to get for Nikola Vucevic right now, so why not trade him to a contender that needs a center? You will acquire maybe some young forwards and some first-round picks. Everybody's happy. Next up, one of the best teams in the NBA so far this season, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I was thinking, what could be added to this roster to even improve their team? Well, I got a buddy who's a Cavs fan, and he's been begging for Cam Johnson, so we're going to take Cam Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets and send him to the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is what the trade would look like. It would pretty much be sending Karis LeVert to the Brooklyn Nets along with first-round picks. Now, I believe this is a win-win. The Cavs get a 3-and-D wing, and the Brooklyn Nets restart their franchise. Next up, the Dallas Mavericks. I have the Dallas Mavericks making an absolute splash. I have the Mavericks trading for Brandon Ingram, making an absolute splash at the trade deadline. Now, I guess this would be for Christmas, so the Christmas deadline. But looking at this trade, it's not crazy at all. You're pretty much giving up PJ Washington and contract fillers and a few first-round picks for Brandon Ingram, who you could easily sign this offseason and have a big three of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and Brandon Ingram, along with their two-center rotation and Klay Thompson. That's definitely a championship contender. Now, before we get to the rest of the NBA, I want to shout out Dabble. They're doing a thing right now where you sign up using my code ALLTALKSPORTS. You're going to get $25, no deposit needed. And on Dabble, all you do is pick more or less with points, rebounds, assists. They even have NFL, but I do it for the NBA. It's super easy, super convenient. Use code ALLTALKSPORTS for $25 when you sign up, no deposit needed. All right, moving on to the Denver Nuggets. I have them trading for Zach LaVine, getting rid of Michael Porter Jr.'s ass because he just sucks, and trading for Zach LaVine as he's been playing amazing so far this season because besides Nikola Jokic, the rest of this Nuggets roster, abysmal. Next up, the Detroit Pistons. Now, I could say lose out, get a better draft pick, but these Pistons fans need wins. You have your core of Cunningham, Ivy, and Duren. You brought in Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, these players who would win you games. Go out, win games, and make the play. Next up, Golden State Warriors. They have a lot to ask for this Christmas. What I'm going to say is not to trade for Jimmy Butler, but just turn the ship around with the players you have. You started off extremely hot. Get back to that hotness. Next up, another red hot team, the Houston Rockets. Now, what they're asking for this Christmas is to continue staying hot. I don't have them making any roster moves. I have them staying with this roster, with Ime Udoka, and winning the Western Conference. That's what they're wishing for. Next up, the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers are ready to Santa right now. Please give me the Tyrese Halliburton that I once known and loved. Because the Tyrese Halliburton this season is just, man, he's just not it. Next up, I think the whole world knows what the Clippers are asking for this Christmas. They're asking for a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Because this Clippers team has actually been playing good ball lately. The combo of Harden and Kawhi could definitely make a splash in the Western Conference. Next up, the Memphis Grizzlies. And if any team needs to stay healthy, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant's played barely any games this season. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been hurt. I just feel like everybody's been in and out, in and out. They don't have a healthy core. So just get healthy, Memphis. Next up, the Miami Heat. One of the most controversial teams on this list. I have them trading Jimmy Butler. The Jimmy Butler experiment is done. He's no longer the best player on your team. He's no longer the second best player on your team. Trade Jimmy Butler to a title contender right now. Get young players, first round picks, easy deal. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks. I have the Milwaukee Bucks improving their depth and actually going out and trading for Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, this may sound stupid and be like, Dorian Finney-Smith, but no, they need to trade for a 3-and-D wing, and Dorian Finney-Smith has proved that he can be that player. Next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, not only do the Minnesota Timberwolves need to find their identity, but they need to find a scorer outside of Anthony Edwards. He can't do it by himself. So this Christmas, the Minnesota Timberwolves are writing to Santa Claus to reverse the Karl Anthony Towns trade. I mean, this trade just looks horrible. Cat is absolutely balling, probably going to be the Eastern Conference Conference All-Star starting center, and Julius Randle looks just as good as I do, and I suck. Okay, now I know Memphis was hurt, but the Pelicans, they need to get healthy extremely bad. The Pelicans are wishing to get healthy this season and to continue to lose games at the same time, and they're hoping to trade Brandon Ingram, so it's just a lot on Santa's plate for the Pelicans, so we'll see what he does. Now, going to the New York Knicks, I have them adding depth. Now, obviously, the starting five has been great so far this season, but their bench production is lacking, and everybody knows that. I mean, they just went out and signed Landry Shamet to play. Landry Shamet. So they should go out and acquire no big names, but just somebody who can maintain that second unit. All right, next up, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're hoping for a healthy Chet Holmgren to come back better than ever. Now, yes, Isaiah Hartenstein has been absolutely balling for them. But can you imagine him on the second unit and Chet Holmgren playing the way he was playing? When he got hurt, he was top 10 MVP candidate. I don't know. I think this Thunder team is going to be super scary in the Western Conference. Next up, the Orlando Magic are hoping for a healthy Paolo and healthy Franz to come back because this Magic team has grit. They have what it takes to win a playoff series in the Eastern Conference. They just need their two best players to come back. That's it. The Philadelphia 76ers are hoping and praying and wishing for Joel Embiid not to be cooked. The Big Three has only played in 4 combined games this season, and against teams 500 or more, they're only 1-14. So I don't know. Do you guys think Joel Embiid's cooked? Let me know down below. The Portland Trailblazers, not a fun team, but we got to go over every single team. They got to find out who their core player is. Find out the player you're building around. Is it Shaedon Sharpe? Is it DeAndre Ayton? Is it Scoot Henderson? Who is that player? Build around that player and start to win games in Portland. The Sacramento Kings. This one's gonna get spicy. The Sacramento Kings are wishing and praying and hoping to figure out what they're doing with De'Aaron Fox. Are you trading him? Are you signing him to a contract extension? Kings have not been good this year. You have young guards on your bench. Do you take advantage of the De'Aaron Fox and sign him, or do you take advantage of De'Aaron Fox and trade him? Let me know what you would do down below. Now for the San Antonio Spurs. I have them going out and trading for De'Aaron Fox. How awesome would it be for Wembanyama to open up his Christmas gift and it be the point guard of the future? Now don't get me wrong, Stephon Castle, a big guard, he could play the point. But imagine De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Victor Wembanyama as your future young guards and center. Now, this is what the trade would look like. I mean, it's kind of a steal for both teams. I love it for both teams. All right, but let's move on to the Toronto Raptors. I have them figuring out who the second star is next to Scotty Barnes. Can Grady Dick step up to be the second star for the Toronto Raptors? I don't know. Or should they go out in free agency and start to spend money, or draft a player who can be the second star? You let me know down below. With 2 teams left and you made it this far in the video, make sure to give it a like. Helps me out a lot. For the Utah Jazz, they're going to wish to keep sucking, because you know why? And their Christmas gift is going to happen in July, and it's when they hopefully acquire Cooper Flag. I mean, this team's just been a dumpster fire this season. Cooper Flag could go in and try to help. Lastly, the Washington Wizards. Now, although the Wizards are absolutely terrible, they have a lot of young star potential, so they need to figure out who they're moving forward with and who later down the line they could trade to acquire a star to help them go on a championship run. Now, yeah, that'll probably be in 5 to 10 years, but that's what I got for the Wizards. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hope you have a happy holidays. Hit the follow button for more. Peace.